This is Session 11 on Politics.
I believe that I might have hesitated or perhaps even stopped the abortion procedure if I could have viewed the ultrasound.
Give the woman the right to see or not see it.
We need to protect the unborn by fast-tracking the sonogram bill so that women are fully medically informed before they make the life-changing decision to terminate a pregnancy.
The sonogram bill forcing doctors to give very specific and possibly graphic options to patients before an abortion is performed. The governor's emergency item jetted out of the Senate State Affairs Committee after 9 hours of testimony, and now the entire Senate could consider the controversial legislation this week. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Robert Hadlock here on Session 11 for this Sunday. Today, we have the sonogram bill's author, Houston State Senator Dan Patrick, live here in our studio. Plus, our On Politics panel picks the bill apart and also talks about the Tea Party's influence at the state capitol. But first, our political reporter Josh Hinkle is here live to show you how you can interact with us here on Session 11.
That's right, Robert. It's very easy to become part of our morning program. Let me show you. Just log on to KXAN.com, and while you're there, click on the On Politics tab at the top. You'll go straight to our special political site where you can check out all of our latest political coverage. And click on the box at the top of the page to start chatting with us. Our On Politics panel will field your questions later in the program. And as Robert said, abortion rights have been the focus of the latest fight at the Capitol. And this isn't the first time lawmakers have tried to push the sonogram bill through. But now with the historic GOP presence, the measure straining the already tense pro-life, pro-choice debate has an extremely good chance of becoming law this time around. The heart of an 11-week-old fetus thumping loudly right in the middle of the Texas State Capitol. An ultrasound performed just outside the House chamber.
And I really felt God's hand in this.
Watching a technician take two expectant mothers through what was growing inside them, Senator Dan Patrick felt confidence in the controversial bill he'd authored.
This is the year we'll finally see the sonogram bill get all the way to the governor's desk.
The sonogram bill cleared the first hurdle with committee approval and could see Senate passage in the upcoming week. Representative Jeannie Morrison, who penned the companion legislation in the House, announced her version already has more than 60 House members signed on as co-sponsors.
We want to make sure that women have all of the information available to them before they have a very invasive procedure.
The legislation would require doctors to verbally describe what's seen on a sonogram to a patient at least 24 hours before an abortion. The doctor would also have to make the sonogram available to view and the fetal heartbeat available to be heard, unless the patient declines those options.
By distorting medical facts and by subverting the principles of informed consent.
Planned Parenthood said the bill hurts the relationship between a doctor and a patient, and other critics say it coerces women to make a decision, not to mention possible emotional trauma.
Senate Bill 16 is bad medicine, bad law, bad policy, and a denial of individual liberties.
Patrick has said he'd welcome women changing their minds about having an abortion if the bill passes, though he says that's not the legislative intent, and he's not the only one backing this issue. On Friday, Representative Sid Miller joined a handful of other lawmakers who filed similar bills, and you can read all about that in my blog post on onpolitics.com.
Thank you, Josh. Looking into the week ahead at the state capitol now, Speaker Joe Straus has announced the highly anticipated House committee assignments. That means members can finally begin working to pass legislation. Minutes after the announcement, the newly formed Appropriations Committee laid out its first line of meetings to begin tackling the state's big budget woes. Among the leadership of the committee, Central Texas lawmakers were nearly shut out. Travis County Democrat Donna Howard was the lone leader among that group, securing a position as vice chair of the House Administration Committee. For Howard, though, her first hurdle will be to get past the special committee considering her election contest. KXAN News told you first the special master's recommendation at the end of the week. He narrowed the margin of victory from 12 down to 4 votes, but still says that Howard beat Republican Dan Neal for that House District 48 seat in northwest Travis County. New online at KXAN.com or On Politics poll. Should the state require doctors to give women the option of seeing a sonogram before an abortion? Go to our On Politics page at KXAN.com and we'll let you know the results later here in the broadcast.
She has a right to choose not to see it or not to hear it, but we want to be sure that she's empowered to have the information that she's entitled to.
Up next, we go live one-on-one with our newsmaker of the week, the man behind the sonogram bill, and the recently formed Tea Party caucus, Senator Dan Patrick of Houston, when Session 11 returns.